PoE1 League waiting room. Man, it sucks that some people don't like the game. I mean, I'm lucky that I'm enjoying it quite a bit, I guess, because some people seem like they don't, not vibing with them. I think the base game is in such a good spot. Even if I don't like everything in the game right now, I think the base game is in such a good spot. I'm like really excited. I believe GGG will also, like, they're not gonna mess it up, right? Like, it's early access, right? This is like literally the most unbalanced, probably the most like bugs, the slowest. They've already added so many good changes since the game is like since early access. Like the portaling thing in the campaign, it's so nice. Like the dodge rolling buff, that's so nice. They've already done so many good changes. So many good changes already. Like the campaign feels a lot better. My second playthrough, just from like what they've done already. It's been like what, like 2 weeks tops. The end game is something that, yeah, I feel like it does feel a bit aimless though. Like you're kind of just doing random maps repetitively without much of a goal other than like maybe finding settles that are kind of hard to see. But the end game, yeah, the end game is like kind of in a weird spot. And then like the map layouts are also kind of bad mostly. There's a lot of problems with the end game. I still enjoy it, but yeah, the tower thing's pretty nice actually. I don't like the towers themselves, but I like the idea behind the towers. I kind of like the mini game of like trying to get all the towers at the same time on like certain maps. That's pretty good. I like it a lot better than like Sextons in PoE1. I actually hated like every map you have to like look at you have to like spend like 10 minutes like juicing it up. It's so annoying. I hated that in PoE1. I feel like the endless Alice is nice in theory, but it's kind of like, I feel like it's too endless. We need like some direction. Like the game should like kind of lead you in some direction, I feel like maybe. Give you some options, like some paths or something. It shouldn't just be like, this is a big circle and you can go infinitely in any direction. That's like a little too much. Like I need like some sort of like, something like leading me somewhere. I feel like at least. Is that just me? I need GGG to hold my hand a little bit. There's a lot of things that make sense right now in PoE2. Like, why is Rarity as good as it is? And I think the answer to that question is they probably didn't think about it too much, and they just kind of threw it in unfinished. It's early access, right? And then you think about it, it's like Rarity just keeps getting better the more you have, and it's like, what are we even doing, man? Like, so I had to stop playing Trade. Like, I knew, like, I saw where it was going. Every piece of gear that says Rarity on it, every character I play would just be like archmage or Hoa. That's the way it was going, I think. So I decided that it was time to move on from Trade League. I saw people like showing like they get like loot from like one map when they have like 400 rarity. They get like 100 exalts and like 5 divines. Versus like somebody that has like no rarity, you get like 1 exalt drop or something stupid. Like really that disparity is why Trade is so bad right now. I honestly, the sooner they nerf rarity, the better. Rarity is a snowball mechanic. It's why I don't like it very much, because the more you have, the more you get, and then the better off you are, right? It's like, it's really stupid. I know how it works and I'll abuse it, but I don't like it very much. That's another reason why I stopped playing Trade. Rarity is like killing the economy pretty much. That's why the economy is so scuffed. The top end players are making so much currency. If you're like a new player, you're just starting the league, you almost can't make currency. You have to like do some super degenerate stuff like farm soul cores or like somehow farm essences or something. I don't even know what you do, honestly. Farm ritual. Until you find like a king in the mist, and then you sell your only king in the mist instead of getting your own Alice points. Is that stupid? That's stupid, isn't it? Like, you're selling your own progression. That's how scuffed it is. It shouldn't be like that. That shows how broken the mechanic is. You should want to attempt the losses. You shouldn't want to like sell your freaking boss invitations instantly without even trying and not progressing like your actual Alice. I mean, the game's in a really good spot. Don't worry, I'm complaining about a bunch of stuff right now, but I think the game's amazing. Don't get me wrong. Like, this game is really fun to play. The skeleton of the game is really good, but there's just a lot of obvious problems. I'm surprised there are actually problems. Okay, isn't it? Okay, chat, listen. Exalt or Divines have been worth 5 to 6 exalts on the trade website. We can at least have like an intern or something, like make it like change the price on that, because it's like screwing so many new players over. That's like such an easy change that's really screwing people over right now, for sure. My experience in Trade this league was so bad. There's so many reasons I hate Trade. Do you want to hear more? I probably keep going for like another hour about Trade. I feel like these problems would also apply to hardcore Trade to some extent. Not to mention, you have to spam like 50 people to actually get a trade sometimes. Like you literally have to message like 5 people to get a single trade sometimes. There's so many problems. There's so many problems with Trade. It's so bad. The only thing I actually did like about trade was the fact that the currency exchange was the thing. Like, that's not enough for me, man. Like, I feel like I just enjoy the game more as SF, to be honest with you. It's pretty bad, yes. The experience has gotten pretty bad. Now, I will say, the first 2 or 3 days was pretty good, actually. Also, why are Divines even worth anything in the first place? Like, that didn't even make any sense to me. That Divines were like 80 exalt. Like, why? Why did they go up so much? They're not even like that. They're useful for sure. Don't get me wrong, they're useful, but like not that useful. I've never been a fan of like just playing the game for Divines per hour. It just doesn't really interest me that much. But I've come to the conclusion that I can pretty much do anything I want to on that stuff anyways. A lot of the really OP items are they come from bosses, so. No, I mean, I enjoyed trade the first 3 days. It's like when trade became like every item's either worth 0 or like a 1 divine. And every trade you do takes like 10-15 minutes. That's when I started hating it. It wasn't that bad early on. Day 3, it's fine. I'm enjoying it. I'm selling my garbage items for like a couple of gold each. Every item on the market is like relatively cheap. You can buy whatever you want. People are responding. And then, like day 4, divines go to like 50 exalt. No one's buying anything anymore. The economy like died overnight. And then like every trade I do takes like 5 minutes. And doing like a 2 exalt trade, the guy takes like 5 minutes to load. Alright, GG. Waiting in my head out for 5 minutes. Every time I want to go buy an item, I have to search to like 50, I have to message like 50 people. There's like 10,000 price fixers. People not responding. I finally get to an item that someone wants to sell. It's like 1 divine minimum. The trade league is actually just so toxic. Like everything about it, I don't interact with it anymore. It's stupid. Don't get me started on boss invites. It's like 10 divine to buy a boss invite. Like, what are you doing? What is this? And then every build ends up being archmage or stat stacker in trade league. So it's like, I'm just over it, man. I'm over it. Why bother? It was pretty disastrous after the first couple days. Like, think about like you're like a 2 exalt trade, and the guy takes 5 minutes below because he's on console. Or like you're trading with new players, and they like enter your maps while you're like in a map. They just enter your maps, or follow you around in the campaign. There's some trade was pretty annoying. Not to mention like you have to message like 100 people before they actually respond. Or like the price fixing that goes on, or the scammer. There's so many bad things, it's insane. I can make like an entire list of things that I hated about trade. Like every other trade's a scam. 5-minute trades. Price fixing every item possible. List an item for 1 exalt less than it's worth. Get messaged by 10,000 people instantly. It is so bad. It's like almost comically bad. I think Rarity ruined. I think they like buff drops and then the Rarity thing. Also, I'm guessing there's like massive RMT and stuff happening too. I wanted to play Trade League because I know it's like it's like the fastest way to make builds and like make YouTube videos for builds and make build guides. But I just can't, man. Trade is so painful in this game. I don't enjoy it at all. Oh, also like the farming strats are kind of boring right now too. Like if I was actually farming all day for like currency or whatever. Also rarities. I didn't even mention Rarity. Rarity kills Trade League, honestly. Rarity literally killed Trade. That's probably the biggest problem actually is Rarity. There's so much loot coming into the economy from like the top players now, like high tier items and stuff, because Rarity affects everything that drops. You get way more divines, you get way more like T4, T5 items. Like the economy just has so many like insane items now because of it. They literally fixed this problem in PoE1. They removed quantity. Make it like not required. It's like right now it's so good it's required. I don't really mind Rarity being a thing if it's not required, but it is really required right now. Yeah, Rarity's too good. You have to stack it with whatever you're doing, pretty much. Which is, I don't think it's a good thing. If they if they had made like a cap for Rarity, that would be pretty good. If they made Rarity not affect currency, that'd be pretty good. Dissipate. They say make it not as strong. I don't really care if they leave in the game, but it shouldn't be required. But I know some people do like Rarity. Hear me out, chat. Remove Rarity! Obviously, they need to buff loot if they remove Rarity. But like buff loot to like a baseline and remove Rarity. And make your boss invites quest items until like the very last one. Then you can start trading them. You guys don't like the idea? Why not? That would fix all the most of the trade problems right now, I think. Think PoE2 make mistakes PoE1 already fixed. Makes you feel like the two separate teams making the game. GG talks like they're working everything together. I get that too, actually. I wonder like what's going on there, because there's been a lot of stuff that's like that, like DD, like using a low level DD for example, that have no mana costs. That was fixed in PoE1 already. Still a problem in PoE2. Kind of weird actually, but yeah, stuff like that has been fixed in PoE1 already. It's just a little weird they're doing it again. Maybe they're okay with it in PoE2, they're not okay with it in PoE1. I don't really know what's going on with that. And then we have things like Rarity. They nerfed Rarity in PoE1 because nobody likes it being so required. That was a good change, but they added it in PoE2 and it's even more required than it ever was in PoE1. And they're missing things like, I mean, they'll add all this stuff anyways. I feel like they'll address this stuff, honestly. I'm not too worried about it. But it's weird to see the problem in the first place. Yeah, the game's insane. This game's really good already. Obviously, there's a lot of issues. I'm not saying the game's perfect. There's a lot of things I have issues with. The campaign's a little too long. Endgame's a little boring. It's kind of directionless right now. Obviously, balance is super out of whack. Grim Peace is overpowered. Archmage is overpowered. Stat Stackers are overpowered. Warriors suck. Bows are like way better than anything else in the campaign. Obviously, there's lots of balance problems, right? I don't think these are any problems that are going to be in the game forever, though. Like, these are all going to be solved, probably. Rarity is really, really dumb. I have faith that GG will fix a lot of these problems pretty fast. But they usually have a pretty quick turnaround with this type of stuff. I was talking about how I think Warrior might actually be good, but they released, like, Maces first. And Maces is probably the slowest weapon type. Once Axes and 4th get released, I bet Warrior will actually be good. They just released the slowest weapon base for some reason. You're probably just gonna like weapon swap the Hammer of the Gods or something on Maces and like use like Sword or Axe most of the time when it actually comes out. I get the whole like archetype of like wanting to be like slow and like chunky attacks, but it's like a little too far if you can't make your character faster. Like it's like impossible to make your character actually faster. It's kind of dumb, I think. I think the reason why Fire Skill's so bad actually is because Ignite. It's not even a real thing. Like, Ignite's not even an ailment right now. Compared to Shotgun and Trees, Ignite is not an ailment. They need that. That's another thing I feel like they should look at. It's like Ignite and Poison. They feel very, like, boring. And Bleed as well, I guess. Here's my problem with Ailments. It's not even about the damage or anything. They all feel the same. Do you really want the game to be like Ignite, Poison, and Bleed are all the same thing? You just skill crit and go big hit. Like one big hit? This is boring, isn't it? Yeah, if you're playing Ailments in this game chat, you skill crit. Isn't that stupid? Crit is more damage than like bleeding and stuff. Poison. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Rebuild just goes all poison, or sorry, all crit damage instead of any poison nodes. That's the thing though, right? Like there's so many nodes on this trait. And they're so, like, unbalanced right now. It's hard to know, like, what to take, right? The game's just an amazing spot, just, like, as a skeleton, right? Like, the gameplay's good. Other than Rarity, I feel like itemization's obviously already really good. We've seen better endgame, and we think better balance than, like, a couple other changes. And more classes and more ascendancies and stuff. Crafting is, a bit weird. I mean, they've already said something about crafting, though, right? Like, they want it to be basic, and they'll keep adding new things into the game again, like harvest and stuff. Like beast harvest. Crafting will be complicated again eventually, I assume. And certain endgame mechanics will make it complicated again. I'm really curious to see what they do with beasts and stuff. Like, I think a lot of people are getting burned out because the game is in this state where it's like pretty much figured out already until they add new patches and new classes and stuff. Predictions on next patch. Rarity, dead. Archmage, dead. Stat Stacking, dead. Grim Feast, dead. ES, dead. Gas, dead. DD, dead. Any build that can actually map equals dead.